A few senators ahead of Monday's February 19th sitting of the Upper House expressed their growing concerns about the safety and security of secondary school students as well as the island's educational facilities. The senators also voiced their opinions over the recent declaration in Antigua and Barbuda that allows parents to be prosecuted and tried for the misdeeds of their offspring. On Thursday, February 15th, the Gaston Brown-led administration made the announcement that the laws will be changed in Antigua and Barbuda to hold parents accountable for their children's behavior, i.e., these parents could also be charged for their children's crimes. This news comes as St. Lucia has seen the increase in students engaging in acts of violence on and off the school compound. The issue of safety was raised this past week, prompting an emergency meeting between the Ministry of Education, non-governmental entities, and other stakeholders. St. Lucia Labour Party Senator Alison Jean says school is supposed to be a safe haven for students and its officials must ensure that the environment must be conducive to such. She notes regarding the concerns of weapons in schools, should solutions like the searching of students or installing metal detectors at schools be brought forward, she would be in support. As it relates to if such a law as what is to be passed in Antigua is proposed, the senator said a parent should be tried on the basis of if they are aware of the child possessing a harmful weapon.
I think it's also one that will assist in curbing what we're seeing out there. But the parents would have to be tried to ensure that they knowingly allowed that child to leave home with a weapon. Sometimes parents don't realize what their children are leaving with. So I think we have to look at new approaches. But I would, as a parent, want to encourage other parents to look at their children and really engage in proper parenting. Don't allow the school to parent that child. That's not the role of the school. The school is supposed to provide instruction, learning, but the parenting is supposed to come from the home.
Independent Senator Dale Lee said the situation is more complex than it actually seems.
There are a lot of things that will have to go into making a decision as to whether that form of punishment is imposed, because at the end of the day, children are individuals. There's only so much control, unfortunately, that parents do have. So unless there's a situation where you can prove directly that the parent was responsible, so for example, I think in the US, where recently a parent was found guilty of manslaughter in relation to actions of the child, they had created a situation which led directly to the child's actions. In that situation, I can understand the need to prosecute the parent. In other situations where it's not as easy to see exactly what the parent could have done, I find you're probably entering a very slippery slope if you start creating liability in those sort of situations.
Meanwhile, opposition Senator Dominic Fede says he is unfamiliar with the proposed Antiguan legislation and needs to take a good look at it. However, he did note the United Workers' Party is analyzing it.
I need to sort of look at the legislation in its entirety and not just on that one measure. I've seen some snippets of the report, but I wouldn't want to comment on just a snippet on what I've read online. So I would want to, it's something that we're analyzing in the opposition to see the merits and demerits, but we haven't arrived at a definitive position.
All three senators spoke against the growing fears of educators and the general public following the most recent violent incident involving students in the city last week, which left one student with injuries after he was attacked with a weapon. However, in an interview with journalists last week, Thursday, February 15th, the Education Minister made it abundantly clear that if children brazenly commit acts of violence, then he is in full support that they be tried to the full extent of the law. For Choice News Now, I am Chelsea Austinay.